Hi guys, welcome back to Kit Car Direct and MK Sportscars, where we're going to get straight into the workshop. As you can see, it's quite noisy. We are live. We're videoing these cars, and we've got the beautiful Rx-5 K20 here. Now, the reason I'm standing over this particular car, there's two reasons. The first reason, we keep getting asked sump clearance. Everybody thinks the Honda K20 engine is really tall and you get no sump clearance. Well, I'm going to try and put that one to bed today. So this is a piece of wood, simple gauge. Rather than showing you, this is actually 90 mil, so quite a bit of clearance there, 90 mil. This goes under and just touches the very bottom of the sump plug at 90 mil. So it's about 88 millimeters in terms of height on that sump that you have for clearance there. So you've got loads of room. That's plenty of ground clearance on these cars. Mainly even like the booster stuff that we do, we only run like 85 mil ride height on the front chassis rail. So as long as you're sort of above 75 is where we aim as a minimum, really, to try and work with to get over speed humps and all of those things. So yeah, it's about 88 millimeters to be exact if you want. But yeah, with you sitting in the car, maybe 86 because he comes down a couple of mil. And that is fully weight. That's got fuel in it, that's got everything on it. There is nothing else. That's got windscreen, and that's running a 15-inch wheel, which has a 195/50 15 tyre, which is pretty much what we try to work with on a standard road car. And if you did actually do a 205 60 13, they're within 2 mil of each other anyway. Sorry about the noise. Right, the next thing about this car, it's all been IVA'd, as you know. It's got its registration plates now, which has just got restuck on, but this car may be for sale, actually. The owner, who's up in Aberdeen, works away a lot, may not have time to use it, and is considering selling it possibly before. You may run it for a little bit, but if you're interested in a sky blue, golf blue coloured K20A car, and you want to get one that's maybe built and ready to go this summer, then hook Andy or Neil up with a phone call, email, talk you through the projects and everything else. You've probably seen it if you've subscribed anyway. Such a shame, but his circumstances, he works away from home a lot. His circumstances have changed. He may not have time to use it, which is such a shame because it's an awesome bit of kit. So you know where we are. Hook us up, phone call, email if you're interested in a K20 A2 with 230 horsepower of VTEC performance. Right guys, it's Rx-5 time. And if you've been subscribed and following us over the last few months where we've been building this little bad boy, you would have seen it's gone through its IVA process. That's number one. We built the car, got it through the IVA process. Pretty simple with the Rx-5 kits. Full build manual available on these, and you can build them at home in your own garage, in your own time, exactly to this spec. This spec is a standard car, as you get in like our deluxe kit, shall we say, which is at 9995. Everything you see here, the only options that's been on this was the aero screen and cross-drilled and groove and vented discs. That is it. Everything else is completely as it comes in the kit. So you get your donor vehicle and plus the kit, and you build a car that looks as good as this. Now, we've done those little touches, the little carbon aero screen. The customer wanted that as a little creature comfort. It's got a nice padded tunnel top, standard gauges on it, standard wheels even as they came off the donor vehicle. Now this car, maybe the last time you probably see it in the workshop, because it's going to head off now to its new owner. But before that, Andy did a little test drive on the car to show you how great these cars drive. And if you subscribe, you'll get to see that video online. Right, here we go guys, MK Indy R ZX10 time. Well, you can see it's not got a ZX10 in here. Well, what we've been doing is taking, well, the engine that was in there. Unfortunately, the engine had a little incident where it's got a little, kind of the gearbox exploded. Got a nice little hole here. And lots of shrapnel came out of here, lots of gears and metal and everything else. This is earlier ZX10. They did a couple of variations on that particular engine. But process is obviously drain the oils, drain the coolants, disconnect the coolant lines, disconnect the exhaust system, disconnect all the electrics, disconnect the throttle cables, disconnect the air filter system. There's lots of things to take it to get it out. And generally, it's been okay. It's not been too much of a process. You can get where you got exhaust system a bit corroded here and there. That it's a bit of bit of a nightmare to get some of the exhaust studs out and everything else, but that's all down. Then we've got to do sump swaps, we've got to do other things, changes over, because it's got a modified sump pan to go into the new engine and a few other jobs. So yeah, the process now is taking this plant and getting the new version of it and putting all the components off of it, because generally they don't come with the components you need it. There's things like this. The drive flange adapter. I think the new motor hasn't got the starter motor in it, so you've got to take the starter motor in it, hasn't got the alternator pack on it, and have a few other bits and bobs. The sump system's got to be changed, it's been modified as well. So a few little components off of that engine into the new engine before we can start rebolting this back in and connecting up the electrics, coolant lines, oil lines, fuel lines, everything else that goes in the process. So unfortunately it looks a bit bad until it looks good again. But yeah, we'll get this back into life again in the next coming weeks. As soon as you subscribe, we'll see you fire it up, and the customer then can start enjoying themselves again, and hopefully find the right gear and not do this if you start missing gears. That doesn't help at all. But yeah, cracking bit of kit. Quite like orange and black, don't you? Do you like orange and black? Thumbs up. Right, now we've got standing over here. What we've got here in MK Indy Rx-5. Sorry, stop, pause, rewind. It's MK Indy RR VTEC Performance Honda S2000 car. Well, this one's been in and out of the workshop a couple of times, doing some service issues over the last couple of months, and the main thing was on this was the idling on it vehicle actually. Had some idle issues, a couple of things that we had to deal with on it, fit some other parts as well. One of them is great engine, the S2000, stonking performance, as you know, well north of 230, up to sort of 250 horsepower these can do once they're mapped correctly. This thing was causing problems, the idle air control valve. This basically lets air in and out through the plenum here, bypassing the throttle body blade. That with the ECU controller was causing lots of issues, so it would start until it got on some kind of temperature in the engine, it really wouldn't idle, very lumpy. These can get known to get stuck, and the little rotation piston in it can get stuck, and you can clean them out, and some of it is a serviceable item. This one wasn't, unfortunately. It'd gone past that stage. It had to get a new one, and we had to do some bits of the ECU that was causing it not to control it correctly. Now, good to say, that is spot on. Done some other things on this. We've fitted, it's got carbon wings already, but he wanted some carbon stone guard protectors. They've all been fitted, very nice. Fitted over these are for the extra wide arches. We do one for the standard arches, which are 50mm shorter, but we do them for the extra wide as well, and a few other bits. It was a fault and a bit of a nut and bolt check on the car and stuff like that, make sure she's all good to go. New pair of front wings because he broke a wing, so it's had the carbon CSRs fitted as well. Yeah, stonking car, familiar car to us, built by #Sean. Great little bit of kit, and I'm sure now Charlie will be tearing up A, B roads and a bit of track time in this one very soon. Right, it's crating up time. As you can see, the parts are being loaded in. It does take time to carefully plan and meticulously put these in without damaging stuff, but the boxes are going in daily, the parts are going in, getting packaged up and put into the vehicles here. Chassis are being loaded into, for Norway, the double decker as we call it. But chassis register, if you're already in the queue, you know where you are. You're up on this side this week. If you want to get yourself in the queue, hook us up with a phone call, email, speak to Andy or Neil, or come down, as we always say, and visit us at the factory here. We'd love to show you around the cars. Right, well, now that springtime's coming, guess what? Events are rolling in thick and fast now. When's the next event? Well, it's only a week away from now. May the 14th, that's our next open day here. That's on a Sunday, so hopefully it gives you a bit of time, and if the weather comes in, for you to be off work, come and have a look, bring your cars, get in your kits, come down, look around everybody else's, have a tea, have a coffee, have a bit of food, have a good old chat as well. It'll be a great introduction to all the kit car scene, what's all going on. Last event, brilliant, brilliant. Then after that, we are second, third, I think this is June, we're up at Malvern, but also that weekend we are racing at Alton Park in the Cup 200 series. So a lot going on that weekend. So I'll be between shows actually on that weekend. So it's going to be stonking, but yeah, a couple of weeks away. Open day, May the 14th on a Sunday. Another super busy week. If you want to know more about the cars, obviously hook us up, phone call, email, messenger, whichever way, or come and visit us here. Speak to Andy and Neil and they can talk you through the range. Or the Cup 200 series, don't forget about that. Next race at Alton Park, as I've said, you can speak to Automotive Racing or Richard RLM and they'll let you know more about the product as well. It's great. Hope you enjoy what we're doing. Press that subscribe button and like button if you do, and we hope to see you at the next event.